I didn't speak English at all, like when I was 18, but some reason I got the message. I need to go US. I was alone in New York City, didn't know anybody. I got homesick, depressed, suicidal. I had a pivotal moment, transformational moment that like my voice matters.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Financial Dad podcast, a podcast geared towards young creatives, self-employeds, and entrepreneurs who are just trying to find their way in the world. I'm Hallie Smith. I am an actor and independent contractor, and I am joined by my father, Tim Smith, who is a certified financial planner and also the financial dad. And today, both of us are joined by our special guest, Akira Iguchi, and I'm going to let my dad introduce him a little bit more.
Thank you, Hallie. Appreciate that. Akira, welcome. It's so nice to have you. Just for our audience's sake, Akira and I met this past spring in Europe. I think it was a fun evening for everybody. So my sense of you, Akira, after meeting you, I know that you're from Japan. You spend a lot of time in the United States. You're really a fascinating guy with a wonderful heart and a beautiful spirit. I enjoyed meeting you for all those reasons. But also you have a terrific story, and it is a rags to riches story from pretty tough spot in your life to the heights of motivational speaking and writing and consulting to the point where people have called you the Tony Robbins of Japan. So we are honored to have you here. And I think a great place to start would be that story. We'd love to hear what happened in your life. Where were you? What happened that turned things around for you?
Yeah, thank you for a great introduction. I'm so happy to be here. Yeah, so let me share my story. I'm in the business now 17 years. So I started when I was 25 years old. So my story is starting from, I grew up very, middle-class family in Japan. My dad was, we call salaryman. It's like for corporate, he worked in the same company 40 years. My mom is a housewife. So very, two older brothers. So very, I'll say, middle-class, normal family. As I grew up in Japan, it's very common, like following the path of study hard, get a good job, and working for the same company, then retire. That's the path I got from my dad, which my dad working for the same company like 40 years. So I was seeing that, that's the path I go. When I was a teenager, I was struggling to express myself. I would say I was kind of unique in a way that I wasn't afraid of like speaking up. In Japan, in Asian culture mostly, just kind of follow whatever other people doing and go the mainstream path, which I did up to 14 years old. Then I start having like, when you're like, teenagers, you start struggling with like my friends, myself. Basically, I didn't know what to do for the schoolwork, go in the future. I start bullied. So then end up changing the school like 5 times. I didn't know how to communicate with other people. I didn't know how to communicate with myself. I just kind of easily close up. So by the age of 18, I barely graduated high school. I did, but I was lost. I didn't know what to do. Like, I don't know what I want in the future. So I was asking myself, like, why I can't do same thing as other people, So I was questioning myself. My self-value very low. Then at the time, I started reading books that changed my life. These books about personal development, like The Think and Grow Rich, 7 Habits, Rich Poor Dad. These books like changed my life, gave me the hope and inspiration. Like, wow, none of my friends told me like that. None of my family members told me that. So I found like the future. Okay, I didn't speak English at all, like when I was 18, but some reason I got the message, then I was like, I need to go US, these books from US. So I had the American dream to be somebody better, somebody more successful, reinvent myself to get a second chance. So I came to the US as an exchange student first year. Of course, I felt like very different culture, like culture shock in a good way. almost like, wow, everybody expressing themselves. Everybody's like saying what they want to say, pursuing their dream. So I'm like, okay, this is it. Then I met Tony Robbins. So almost 20, 21 years ago, I went his seminar, inspired, and I just felt like, wow, that I want to do. Same thing to my people in Japan when I moved back. So that was great things. Also, the hard part is I was alone in New York City, didn't know anybody. I got homesick, almost depressed, suicidal. So I wasn't sure if I make it. So then went Tony Robbins and kind of shift my mindset, transform. And then I've decided to go back to Japan and start my business. So that's the story. Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. Well, I lived in New York for a number of years as well, and it is interesting that sometimes leaving an environment can help you grow so much until
Mm-hmm.
you need to leave the environment that you left to so that you
Mm-hmm.
can find yourself again after you've had a lot of personal change and growth and just processing a lot of things. But thank you so much for sharing your story. I would love to ask you, when you were first starting out your business,
Mm-hmm.
what are the things that you feel like you did that got you where you are? Like the first few things, even if they sound small,
Mm-hmm.
that you feel like were kind of instrumental in helping you reach your success?
Yeah, sure. So I started as a personal coach, like one-on-one, about mindset, goal setting, personal growth, which I learned 4 years in the US, like psychology, NLP, these. So I started sharing one-on-one with the people just for free. So back in the days, like I think it's only Facebook, but no Instagram, YouTube, things
Okay.
like that. So I had to like in person, like sharing with my friends. I go these events, a group of entrepreneurs, and I introduce myself and like, okay, I was in the US. I learned from coaches and speakers. So I was just sharing what I learned, and people found, oh, that's interesting. Like, can you do like a small event, small seminar? I'm like, sure, Then I did it first time. Then my friends organized and he invited like maybe 10 people. Then I just got as like a guest speaker fee, which was like $300. Then I felt, wow, that's because if you work like just part-time job, like you make only what, like back in the day, it's like $8, $9 an hour. So I make
Yeah.
$300 for my talk. It's like
Yeah.
I'll be rich, And then, yeah. Then people loved that. I had a pivotal moment, transformational moment that like my voice matters. Like I could make a small difference to other people's life. So then I started organize my own small seminar, like 5 people. I just basically sending email to other people who I met, just personal, like direct messages. Then also I went so many events. There back in the day, there's like a email group. So if you want to send a one email, then everybody get it. So I was just sending all the email group I was in. So it just like basically I had a mindset, whatever it takes to make it happen. So then start from like 1 to 5 people, then next 1 to 10 people, 1 to 20. So starting from there, of course, some month I couldn't have enough people to do it, but I kept going. Then one point, then I started learning about marketing and business. I noticed that like, oh, I need to. Of course, I love to share my message and helping people about high performance, but I need also the business side,
Mm-hmm.
marketing and sales. So that made a huge difference. Then I got start having like 50 people, 100 people, then start from there. That's what I did, like very beginning
Wow.
of yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it's interesting because it sounds like you started very much from a heart-driven place of
Mhm.
this is something you care about, you're passionate about, and it matters to you, and it makes you feel fulfilled to help people. It wasn't from a place of trying to make a business out of it, even at that point. So
Mhm.
it's interesting that it seems like your tenacity and your drive to
Mhm.
continue on mixed with, other people enjoying it and getting something meaningful out of it created a business. It sounds like it
100%.
just
Yeah.
kind of started from your own passion. So that's really cool to hear. I'm also wondering if there are any things or habits that you feel like were standing in your way when you first started that you either had to overcome or kick out of your life so that you
Yeah.
could continue to pursue it, even when it was thankless work, even when you weren't making money, even when it was seeming like it
Yeah.
wasn't going to continue to grow.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the biggest thing I had is always constantly had a little voice inside of your head, which is like, who do you think you are? Do you think you can really make it? You think you're gonna be successful? Because when I
Right.
started in a business, I'm staying my friend's place, for free. But after a few months, he started, hey, maybe you can pay me the rent, like maybe $400, $500 a month. I'm like, oh, that wasn't my plan, but I got to do it. So I set the goal, small goal, like, oh, how can I make $500 a month? I
Yeah.
have to survive, I didn't want to move back my parents' place. So that was a small goal. Then I set the goal. Then I kind of calculate, okay, how many people I had to have for my seminar to pay my rent. Many months. First, I would say 3-4 months, I was going bad, asking myself, can I really pay the rent next month? That was the many sleepless nights. Then also I had the voice in my head that just believe in yourself, do whatever it takes. I was like seeing so many successful entrepreneurs through the events and seminar. I asked them like, what was the secret? Everybody had the same thing, which is believe in yourself. It's okay not to have some like confidence, anything like that, but just keep doing that. Also, you gotta be smart. Like, don't do the same thing over and over, but just change it a little bit, improve yourself. So I was still doing the seminar, but every time I made a little shift. Okay, this time I changed my sales letter, I changed my offer, I changed, keep constantly improving the whole business and myself. That made a huge difference, starting from like small number of people to 5, 10, 20. I didn't like the number at all. I know today it's like financial podcast, but I wasn't good at financial and numbers, but I almost had to. Like if you want to, be healthy, you go on these weight measures, biomarker measures, so something you need to see the number, right? Same as business or personal finance. You need to see the numbers to where you at and where you want to be. My goal is be successful, be millionaire, da da da. So I'm like, okay, every day, no matter what, I just see my number in my bank account, personal bank account, also my corporate bank account. Some days, like, nothing comes in, just spend them. But I was like, keep watching every day. Then I did something different every single day, as I told you. So that made me, 10K, 100,000, because I was constantly improving myself. Also, the number, okay? If I didn't have enough people, that means I didn't get enough access to my website, So I'm sure everybody on the business, they have some sort of key numbers, KPI.
Yep.
Way to measure
Yes.
your
Yeah,
process.
exactly. And I was keep constantly evolving. So two sides, like one is financial side, one is more like emotional side. I think we need to improve the business of finance.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting what you mentioned about, self-doubt and your mindset, because it really feels like when you are first starting out, that is the enemy to overcome. Have you ever heard this saying that fear is always going to be in the car, but you can choose whether or not it's driving or sitting in the passenger seat? So it sounds like you kind of decided that your desire to make this work was more important than your doubt that it wouldn't work out. And then
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
have to be practical about how to do it.
Yeah, also, I was teaching personal development, high performance. Then I thought that's the ultimate challenge, which if I gonna keep doing that, if I share my voice and message to help people, inspire people to be better, I gotta like teach myself first,
You have to
So
live it.
yeah, as you said, I had lots of fear. I still do, but my motto is do it anyway. It's okay to be scared. It's okay to be afraid. It's okay to be shy. It's okay to be not doing well, but do it anyway. Then you can improve later. Yeah.
Yeah. Very fundamental. kinds of stuff, Akira.
Yeah,
And speaking of
absolutely.
fundamentals, I'm going to ask you a series of questions that are really just about the fundamentals of operating, running
Mm-hmm.
now a business.
Yes.
Because all of our audience are people that are trying to operate a business and grow it and the like.
Yep.
So you have spent 17 years at this. You've written 8 very successful books, one of them called Lifestyle Millionaire, I'm now an
Yeah.
owner of.
Yeah.
So it better
Ah,
be
thank
good,
you.
Akira.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to tell
Yeah.
you. So, you've accomplished a lot for a young man. And one of the key elements that for me has been involved in success in life is time management. And I
Mm.
wonder if you could just tell us how you manage your time. If you have a system, sort of how does that system work?
Sure. Time management, obviously, it's one of the most important thing in life because time is equal. Like, of course, opportunity is not equal for everybody. Money-wise, maybe some of your parents rich, some of not. My family is very, average. I never get money from my parents since I graduate university. But time is 24 hours, like for everyone, right? So I decided to put the time, meaning like work hours, like especially beginning of my business in the morning, I was doing like some morning routine, like, health routine, like workout, meditation, eating like healthy, but I made it very kind of short. Maybe it would be 30, 40 minutes. Like then I took shower, good to go. So it's like first 1 hour, I kind of prepare myself, being the best version of myself. Then after that, one of the most important thing is I plan my day, which is very basic, but I usually put what I want to accomplish, like 3 things a day. 3 things, the 3 most important things, like moving the needle, like what is most important thing. So still today, one of my major thing is I always check the numbers, So how many people visited my website, how many people like leaving their email, how many people sign up for products and things. I always check the numbers. That's one of the major components of my day. So I just usually write what's important, what moving the needle for my business. Then after that, start working. Then every, I'll say 2 hours, I take a break. And when I take a quick break, like bathroom or drinking water break, I always check where I am at. Like, am I distracting or am I like going to work? So constantly I'm checking every 2 hours because, if you don't check, like time goes like, oh, where the day goes, why I
Yeah.
didn't accomplish anything or I got just so many phone calls today. So I constantly check like every hour or 2 hours, am I on the right path to get what I want in a day. So that's one of my time management. Also, other thing is even when I started in a business, I was using my assistant. I paid like minimum wage to the assistant back in the days. But like if I not good at something, if let's say, okay, I need to make this Excel sheet, but I wasn't good at, I had,
Yeah.
I could have learned, but I'm like, okay, I just gonna hire somebody to do it because I knew that whatever it takes, I need to move on, like going forward. So that's the one of the most important time management skill. I know many people write like to-do list or goal. Then the one of the to-do lists sitting there days and weeks, that means you are not good at or you have emotional struggle to do it. So if
Mm.
that happens, I always ask somebody to help me or do something different. Yeah.
Some other little operational kinds of things, and these may
Yeah.
sound a little silly, but how did you make decisions like I need to choose an accountant, I have to get an attorney, I
Mm,
need to get health insurance for myself and my employees. I don't
mm,
know how some of those things they may work differently in Japan, for example, with the health insurance, or putting in a retirement plan for employees if you do that. I don't want to spend too much
mm.
time on it, but I just wanted to kind of
Sure.
feel you out on how you made some of those choices.
Yeah, these are, I would say, very important, but not like emergency, right? So
Yeah.
honestly, like first few years of my business, I wasn't paid too much attention. Then I had to learn the lesson and actually ask around my friends and other successful entrepreneurs how you do it, because I had no idea where to start. So I had to ask around, like, okay, how you choose accountant, how you choose, the financial plan for the personal finance, things like that. I ask around.
Mm-hmm.
Then also I did my own research. I start reading. I think it's educating yourself is the best because even okay, your friends, other successful entrepreneurs recommend you something, but if you don't know like what's good or what's not, just you can't make a decision. So I learn myself, like reading the books, educate myself. Then I usually have like one-on-one meeting, like either online or offline, and tell them like where I am at, where I want to go. Here's the plan. Like, can you help me? Then if
Yeah.
these people, like accountant, finance people, if they have a clear plan, I would ask them. If not, just go to the different person. So usually do your own research. Also, I usually ask around my people, my friends, successful one, obviously, then start from there. Yeah.
Just to follow up on one of those points, and being a financial advisor, I'm curious about these things. So at some point, I mean, most startup businesses, cash is king. You're just trying to pay the bills, right? You're just trying to get through. At some point, hopefully, you've hit the point where you can start to take money back out of the business, right? And you can invest, buy a house, do things for yourself. Do you recall, like, what was it that made you comfortable that you had hit that point at a certain time? How did you make the decision, yes, I can take these monies out and I'm not going to have to reinvest this money. I'm going to take it out and, do whatever I'm going to do with it. Do you recall that?
Yeah, I remember. I think it's after year or year and a half, I would say. So I was calculating how much is the cost, minimum cost per month to have my own business. I had employees and office, internet, ads, spending. So I had enough for, I'd say 7, 8 months of the cash. Then I start feeling comfortable, like, okay, maybe I can take some money now to invest my retirement plan, index fund, things like that. So I know the entrepreneurs or creators or self-employees, first, like, of course, you got to survive. That's the most important things. Then after, if you have enough money to survive, at least, I think minimum 6 months, ideally year, then you start investing for your personal finance, which is also important for yourself and for your family's future. So that's, the time. Yeah.
We did a podcast on this question, and that's almost the exact answer I gave. You worded it differently, but that's pretty close to the way I put it with people. So I'm glad to see you. We're on the same page.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that, Akira. Hallie, you want to?
Yeah. I'm wondering, just to close us off, if you have any advice for anyone who is struggling and trying to find their way, or has some sort of pursuit, some sort of business idea that they are hoping to carry out on. If you have any words of wisdom that maybe you would have wanted to hear when you were starting out.
Yeah, sure. I was obviously, like, same as other entrepreneurs or creators, I was struggling, especially first few months. Then I tried to figure this out my own, which I couldn't. So I start going those events or meetup to meet other people doing better than myself. Especially when you're starting out, almost everyone's doing better, somehow better than yourself. So I just always ask like questions like how those questions actually Harry asked me, like, how did you make first, things? How did you get a first clients? How did you keep getting the clients? That's I was keep asking around the people. Or now you can definitely learn online, like YouTube, Instagram, the books. I recommend books. Of course, it's Instagram and TikTok. This easier, but if you read the books that survived at least few years, or the author is credible. So either in person, go events, meet successful people in your industry or career, then ask the next step. Yes, it's great to read books and things like that. Somebody is super successful, but you need to find the next step. What's the next exact step you need to take? That's I always curious to ask. And also I always give to my mastermind members or students. Because yes, they like the, good gang, good mindset, but also like you need to find some action you can take like tomorrow. So that's the advice I would
Good.
give. Yeah.
Great.
I think
Great.
that's great
So,
advice.
Yeah.
thank you, Akira. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. We like to finish with what are you working on now, and how, if people want to learn more about you, where should they go?
Oh, sure. You can get my book on the Amazon called Lifestyle Millionaire, How to Turn a Passion into $1 million Business. Also, my Instagram, Akira Iguchi, AKIRA IGUCHI1. That's my Instagram. So if you have any questions, comments, feel free to DM me. I check my messages and reply and try to give add the value to your life. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Akira. We're honored that you spent the time with us. As I told everybody at the beginning, you're a lovely guy, and wonderful to talk to you, even if you're in Bali and or Japan or wherever you are at a given moment. And we appreciate very, very much having you here today. Thank you so much, Akira.
Yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you for everyone watching, and we'll see you in the next one.